the entire crew does understand that there's a lot of fans in more countries than just over in that direction, and they do work very hard to bring you stuff. But if you've ever been in the shoes of a singer or an artist or a management or company group, your hands are tied, literally. So they have been working really hard to bring you stuff, and they all understand that it's, you know, time consuming sometimes and whatnot, but trust good old AC, he'll he'll leak you some stuff from time to time, but it's truly amazing. But anyways, while I was playing those couple of songs, I decided that maybe we ought to try something that we never tried before. We've done international stuff, but it has not been quite this complex. But what I'm getting at here and stumbling around, if you all haven't guessed already, through a couple of reliable sources, we hunted down Mr. Declan, and we found just exactly where he was hiding out today, partying. And after multiple tries and putting in the correct I need to dial out of the U.S. code in front of the phone number, because, you know, if everything went perfect, it wouldn't be a wonderful day. But anyways, without further ado, we got Mr. Declan on the phone. How you doing, Declan?
Hi, I'm very good, thank you.
How's the weather over there?
Well, it's England. Do I need to say any more?
No.
It's cold and it's wet.
Welcome to the North Pole with the rest of us. But I really want to thank you for taking time to sit down and talk with us, especially since, you know, we know it's your birthday and all, and
No, thank you for having me. It's a privilege.
You guys are doing a lot over there, but we actually got a surprise for everyone here coming up in a second, and we'll get to that. But can you tell us how you got started in the music scene?
Well, it's a long story. Well, as you've mentioned before, my granddad, who I call Poppy Ben, he got me into music, you know, personally. He was in a local Irish folk band, played many instruments and sung, and when I was much younger, like 3 or 4 years old, before I went to school, he used to bring me to those clubs when he'd perform with his band, and I'd sit and watch him for hours, and so it was sort of a natural thing for me to do from a very early age, just to copy him. So about at the age of 7, I started entering talent competitions for fun, really. You know, I wasn't saying from then I wanted to be a recording artist or something like this. It was just a bit of fun, really, and I guess an aim and a hobby at that point. But it went on from there, removed from there very quickly, and a man called Barry Mason noticed me in one of those talent competitions when I was about 8 and a half, heading towards 9, and got in touch with my mum and dad and said, could we do something with that, and maybe make some demos or something like this? So it went from there. We later on signed a contract with his production company, Xenix, who then later signed a distribution deal with EMI Records. And at the age of 10, September 2000 and something, I'm not sure, yeah, it was 10, I think it was September 2002, the album was released. My first album, self-titled Declan. And it was an amazing and great time for me. I think at 10 years old, I didn't really know what was happening, but it was fantastic, and I had all my family around me, and just a great, fun time.
I know you, especially in your latest video, the making of the projects you're currently working on, I know you mentioned that on past CDs you've done quite a few covers. What drives you to pick the covers that you need to, or that you, what makes you pick, I want to try this cover and that cover to cut to possibly go on the CD? Is it something you look for in the song, or is it something that appeals to you, or is it just a song you've always liked?
It varies, really. I've picked songs myself personally, and sometimes it's just been people in the group. One thing that I think has been very good for us at times, and I've liked a lot at times, is that everyone has a say. You know, everyone has an opinion, and everyone is allowed to voice that opinion, whether it's my mum and dad or my production company, my management company, even my nan. You know, she gives me a song maybe, and I'll think about it, and then maybe say about it to everyone else. So it's good. You know, everyone just puts forward songs that they think could work for me, songs that they love, and as I say, most importantly, songs that could work for me. And we take it from there. For example, Nights in White Satin, I put forward, and my manager Alan wasn't actually quite sure about it at first. He thought maybe it wasn't really the right song for me, or maybe it was too rocky or something like this. But my producer Leonis thought it was a great idea, and that it would suit me very well. So we were actually sitting in the studio at this point, and so we rushed off to the studio, to the vocal booth, as I knew the song anyway, because I'm a big fan of the song. I think it's really a masterpiece. We rushed off to the vocal booth, and a few hours later, the finished copy, or not the finished, but close to finished copy, was there on the desk. So, you know, it can work like that sometimes, very unplanned and random, and other times it's a very planned, slow process that is part of everyone, you know.
I hear you're getting into actually writing your own music. How is that working out for you so far?
It's a learning curve, I think, at the moment, you know. I think at 15, just getting into the swing of saying 16, at 16 now, it's still a very, very big learning curve for me. It's really just beginning. But I've been doing it for a couple of years now, as I've been playing guitar for a couple of years. And I'm just having a great time experimenting. I think for me that's the biggest part of it, because I don't know if anyone really sits down and just writes a song, you know, just does it like that, just so simple in a few minutes. I don't know if that's even possible, because it is an art, like a painter with paint or with pencils. It's an art, and it takes time. It's a craft. So yeah, it's a big learning curve for me at the moment, but I'm just having great fun experimenting with things and enjoying doing it, actually, you know. As I say, experimenting and bringing forward thoughts and ideas that I have in my mind, because I had a lot of ideas before I started playing guitar, but I was never able to express those or show them to other people, so I felt quite frustrated at times. But now it's a lot easier for me. And Moody Blues, which is on my very latest album, You and Me, is an example of that. I had that idea for production because I had to make my demo actually myself personally on my laptop, my notebook, and then I brought it to the producers, and they took it from there. So I'm very, very pleased and proud of that, as it's really in the style I had ideas for. And so yeah, that's a taster for all the fans of what is to come, I think, for the future, and I hope they like it.
Now, with talking about you writing your own music and stuff, and I know you've just been doing it for a little while, do you ever find yourself in a situation where you might be walking down the street, or you might be just sitting at home, or you might be on the road, and you hear something, like a phrase somebody used, or you know, what have you, in that direction, where you say, I gotta write that down, that might be a song?
I know what you mean. And I've heard a lot of people in documentaries and you know, special programs and things dedicated to artists. I've heard them speak about that type of thing. You know, they're sitting in a restaurant and they overhear someone and write it down. Whether it's happened to me or not, so far, no. I mean, of course, I think I've used at times, you know, phrases that everybody uses, but not things that I've heard just in that moment. Not yet, but I'm sure it will happen, because it's quite, as I say, it's quite a normal thing for a lot of people, and I've heard about it a lot.
I'm going to ask you a few questions now that actually the fans had no clue about, and I actually want to thank AC for throwing it open again, just to even though he said it was closed, so that we could squeeze some stuff in here, because I know that you're really fan oriented and stuff. So we wanted to make sure we could find some. So we'll do some on the